to back in with another layout update. So it's been a while. I know 3 weeks seems like a while, and it is to me, but that's probably going to end up being the average time of between layout updates. So, I got some new stuff I purchased at a hobby shop out in Nebraska, as well as some other nice little surprises, and I'll get to all that in a minute. But before we do that, let's ignore the clutter and come on over here to the double-decker expansion. So first off, this is back on. There were a couple things that cropped up and I thought I'd get put off for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe even 5. But anyways, those got resolved. So this project is back on. I have decided to, because of necessity, remove the helix, and it's going to be a continuous climb to transition between levels. Nothing else has changed really. The towns, the live interchange with the Pennsylvania in Lancaster, which will be above Logan over here on the 4x8. So all the towns, all that stayed in place. So, but yeah, let's head over here. Okay, first off, all this scenery I added last time, all this gravel, all that gravel up. Woo! Don't want to tip over my mouse. All that gravel, and then the patch of scenery for right there, and that scenery along the front. That's all been glued. I started working on the mainline ballast. It's in from roughly about right there all the way down to right there, I believe. Some spots it held pretty well, others it didn't, which I don't get because I soaked this extremely liberally with just straight zinc cement out of the bottle. So anyways, that's all overall stock. So before I get to that, I want to do a shout out to the, oh darn, I just forgot the name of them, Mahal Railroad Club, and their club labs inside the ex-Burlington Depot in Grand Island, Nebraska. If you're ever in, stop in. Tuesday evenings are usually when they go. Most of the time Tuesdays. They're not on Sunday very often. But if you do Google search and look through clubs, you can find them on their Facebook page. It's a great space. The depot is built in 1910. It has been immaculately restored. It's fantastic. And the layout is a double-decker mushroom style. So it's got 2 decks, plus a staging area, so that technically counts as third, but anyways, it's got 2 decks. The lower level you view from the bottom, and then you go up on a raised platform to view the top. So you can see one level or the other, but you can't see all levels at once. So it's like a double deck, like my double deck section over there. It says you could view the middle deck from this side and the top level from the other. That's what it'd be like. So the Union Pacific side, they're split into Burlington route and Union Pacific sides. Union Pacific side represents the Union Pacific as it was in Grand Island back in 1954. And our side represents Burlington through Grand Island in 1954. Those are both on the lower level. And then the top level of the mushroom is all Burlington route in rural Nebraska. So, yeah. I meant to do a layout overview, videotape of the whole thing, but, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, I got busy running trains, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let's get a couple of things away. So, one of the guys I've met at a couple train shows out there is Leon DeGernis. I'm sorry if you're watching, I got your last name wrong. Pronunciation, sorry about that. But I got some video clips of his layout, so shout out to him. I got his business card with contact info. great guy, runs a nice little hobby shop out of his garage. And he's got just about everything. He's got a whole bunch of detail parts, a bunch of old Tyco. It's got a fantastic layout. Probably 20 by 43. Series, fantastic. And he's heavily into the Chicago Northwestern, and you'll see that in the video because I show the 3 display cases worth of C&W locomotives. Plus, there's 2 engine terminals on the layout that are pretty much crammed with locomotives. Most of them are Chicago Northwestern, so yeah, he's into that. But picked up a couple things while we were at his hobby shop. First off, got Atlas Code A3 number 6 right. It's for over there on the staging yard. So that's where that's going to go. Next thing up, whole pack of Katie 148 whisker couplers. This is technically number 4, but the 148 whisker couplers are sold in individual packs. So, but anyways, 25 pairs in here. They're all metal. Katie, a bucket coupler. So that's why it says $44.99. But definitely worth it. They're very, very good couplers. So I can take the extra springs in there and fix up my Katie number 5s that I lost the springs to. And then I should have enough in there to get couplers on my maintenance of way equipment that isn't out, because I don't have couplers for it. And then eventually a bunch of the old Tyco freight cars. Take the horn hook couplers off, add Katie coupler boxes and Katie couplers, and get them more up to today's standard. So that's, I'm glad I got those, and I just need some metal sets to replace those plastic ones on the Tyco cars. So next thing up is a Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, and Pacific. That's actually the name of the railroad. Most people just know it as the Milwaukee Road. But it's a outside brace wood boxcar. I don't know the manufacturer. It didn't come with a box. It was just sitting up there along with some other stuff. I saw that and I just said, hey, you want this? Yeah, $5. So that's a pretty good deal because, I mean, it's got, you can see a little bit of wood. Doors slide. They're a little stiff, but the doors slide. You got the grab irons built on. You got chemically blackened metal wheels. Knuckle couplers. They might be easy made, so I don't know what it is, what brand it is. If you have a hunch, go ahead and put it in the comment box. I'd love to hear what you guys think it might be. I'm always curious to hear that sort of stuff. But yeah. So to wrap up the last 2 minutes, drum roll please. Wabam. I present to you the official paint job for the Hocking Valley Railroad. There you go. It's loosely based off of the Reading Company. We got green on the nose, and then green stripe that starts in the back, goes all the way around, locomotive. We used window film to mask it off, and then hand painted some, let me get the paint and I'll tell you what paint brand is. If I can get this in front of the camera. Definitive degree of reason. Tamiya color. Park green was what we used. But I think it came out pretty good. Came out pretty good for an experiment. First off, we tried regular masking tape. Didn't work so well. But we went back with some black acrylic, touched it up where it bled through. Got a little bit more work to do on the front, and we're going to modify the lines on the front of the locomotive a little bit. But, so, and then obviously we colored the air intakes up top here silver. That streak a little bit to show, weathering and grime. So, except for those few touch-ups and obviously paint stuff like the fuel tank gauge, fuel fill cap, except for those few things, the paint scheme is essentially done on these locomotives. So, once we finish that up, the next step will be to, as you can see here, put the lights in this sucker. We've got Mars light, headlight, marker lights right there, that little molded circle, and then I'll also illuminate the number boards. So that'll be the next aspect. Then step after that will be to get my B units, convert them from dummies into powered units, and I'll hardwire them with TCS Cam 40 coders like I did with these. That will be a series, because these were kind of a test to see if my idea would work. It worked, so I'll do a series on it when I get to the B units. I don't know when, so I can't tell you anything as far as time. It might be a few months. There's also a possibility it might even be a couple of years. I'm not sure. So, might be a while, but it will come. I promise you it will come. I do not promise you that it will be soon, because it might not be. So anyways, I'll do the B units, and I'll have two A-B sets, and that'll be my diesel power for the Hocking. Other than that, my locomotive roster for the Hocking is essentially complete. I still need to get a couple Penske diesels for the Penske interchange and a Penske switcher for Lancaster. But yeah, so that's where those are. There you go, the debut of the Hocking Valley paint scheme. Hocking never had diesels. It got bought up by Sino in 1930. But in my version they didn't, so, what if they had lasted long enough to see FTs and regular F7s? And this is kind of what we came up with. Mostly black because it's a coal railroad, with a little bit of green, because you got to have something free, since these are going to be used on priority freights and, hot shot intermodals. But, yeah, so let's take a break, and then I'll give you a report on a little trip Dad and I took. Actually, we literally just got back from a half hour ago.